Hello friends, and welcome once again to Figure Study, where we appreciate the form in Transformers. Today we're taking a look at a second Wing Saber that I have in my collection. I should say the only other Wing Saber I have in my collection, and this was also a recent acquisition, I should point that out. And that is Energon Wing Saber. The vehicle mode is not great. It's a flying wing that looks alright from the top, and kind of terrible from the front. There's just tons of junk all over the thing. I mean, there are a handful of details on this thing that I actually think work pretty well. I do have to give him credit for painting this bit here silver on both sides, because it kind of completes the illusion of a flying wing, especially on the blue backdrop where the blue doesn't show up as well. It kind of hides it. So that makes it look a little bit more like a flying wing, but like that is fine. These little turbine bits on the top are fine. It's fine. The colors are nice. I mean, the red, the blue, the silver, a little bit of white. In a basic sense, it looks okay, but this thing is just kind of a mess, just in terms of bulk and whatnot. It's just a little bit messy for a vehicle mode. Now let's just get the size comparison stuff out of the way real quick. Here you can kind of get an idea of how big this flying wing is. It's a good size. Wing Saber is a pretty decently sized, whatever you want to call this, but it's just so cluttered with bulkiness. Though, hate on the vehicle mode as I might, I do have to say, like, some of the finer details are nice, especially around the cockpit section. Like these kind of gold intakes here. A little bit more here, and you can kind of just barely see engines or turbines or whatever molded up there. The cockpit itself looks nice, if a bit nondescript, and looks like the paint wasn't applied super great in a couple of spots. And it's chipped, but this is an older toy, so that's fine. So yeah, like around the cockpit area, it looks okay. I feel like if you could just ignore the rest of this, it would actually be a pretty decent vehicle mode, but you can't. You just have all this. But vehicle mode is not why I got this guy, and I imagine it's not why most people would have gotten this guy. Energon Wing Saber's robot mode is one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this guy, because this looks really cool. As I understand it, this is meant to homage Star Saber. I'm not anywhere near well-versed enough in the stories or the lore or anything like that to be any kind of authority on Star Saber, but based on what I've seen of the G1 toy and the Masterpiece, this is not bad. I mean, it kind of, the overall color scheme and kind of some of the points where the colors lay do kind of evoke that toy, as far as I can tell. But even as its own thing, he's actually really cool looking. Yeah, he's essentially a brick, like his arms barely move, his legs kind of move, but not really. But just in terms of aesthetics, he looks really nice. I mean, the blue pants, red shirt, it's a bit evocative of Optimus Prime. Really what kind of drew me to this guy, aside from his other functionality, which we just telling you now, we won't really be getting into that with this video, but the other thing that drew me to this guy is mostly like the upper body section, because this looks really cool. Bringing him in a little closer, you can see that there is some nice detail in here. What was the back of the jet mode is now his chest, and this looks really cool. I really like just this whole area right in here. Colors work nice together, just like that red, yellow, blue, very kind of primary almost, with like a little bit of silver in there. But the design itself is really nice too. I like these irregular shaped boosters almost, and the way they're just arranged on his chest is really cool. The yellow pops really nicely with the red. The blue just adds a nice little accent to the top there, and those silver vents. And yeah, this is a really cool looking torso. I'm even into the the big pylon shoulders there. I also really like the head sculpt, which is a bit weird, I suppose, but that's a neat looking head. I mean, it's very robot, but it's just like there's some really nice sculpting on the helmet. That faceplate looks really imposing. One thing that's a little disappointing is, I don't know if it's just the paint or the molding, but one eye is noticeably smaller than the other, or at least appears noticeably smaller. I mean, it's fine. You can just imagine he's giving someone a "Are you serious?" look, but yeah. Still, really, really nice looking head. And silly as it is, I like the fact that it comes together by like just two completely separate halves folding in and combining. It's a silly but neat trick. So yeah, it's just very, very cool looking. And like this area here, you don't really see it much in vehicle mode, but it is sort of evocative of the rest of his vehicle mode. And then you've got these enormous toes, which I kind of wish you could keep them rotated around, and you can, but the problem with keeping them rotated around is they're like too far back. So you basically have to decide between having the toes super far forward or super far back, and I just keep them like this. Yeah, he is a nice looking dude, and the back also looks pretty nice. It's I mean, it's mostly pretty much this is what would have been a nice vehicle mode. It's just resting on his back, but still, it's fine, and it doesn't stick out or anything like that. He's actually got a pretty clean back, all things considered. There you can kind of see those turbine details and a little bit more, just make it a little bit easier to see those. So yeah, I appreciate the style of this guy, and I really like just the little details, the colors. He's really cool, and I mean, yeah, he's a bit of a brick, but I think just as a display piece, just like that, he's totally worth it. And then of course our typical size comparisons, so you can see as a robot, he is pretty big. Again, he's a brick. He's slightly better and slightly worse in some places than a Megazord when it comes to posability, but he's big. He's big and he looks cool on a shelf. That makes me happy. And I said I wouldn't get into the sort of extra stuff that he does, and I won't in detail, but I do want to go over just the basics. And that is, I mean, anyone familiar with this toy knows what else he does, but just in case anyone's not familiar with that, he is actually designed to combine with Energon Optimus Prime. And yeah, he just straight down the middle. And it's pretty cool, actually. I'll just rearrange all this. And I don't have Energon Optimus Prime. I kind of don't really want him either, because I've got this now, but... or rather, hang on a sec. Should say I've got this now, and oh, this is coming, and it actually works. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, he's meant to combine with Energon Optimus Prime, which is fine in itself. I'm not super into it, but like there you can see it actually forms a shoulder and forearm there, with like this little wing bit sticking off. The foot can just be used as is, or can turn it into a different type of arm. And then this can also be turned into a foot. It's that way, that, and that, and yep, there we go. So there you can have the two different types of legs that you can attach to the unfortunately proportioned Optimus Prime, and two different styles of arms that you can put on him. And that makes for a pretty darn cool bit of functionality. So yeah, somewhat goofy though he may be, Energon Wing Saber is actually really cool. Vehicle mode is kind of take it or leave it, mostly leave it, but the combination mode is very cool, and we will get to that later, but like just his standalone robot mode is very neat. And again, I really like this guy, just from an aesthetic standpoint, standing right here. This is a cool look. Combination mode does not hurt, but this by itself is still really cool. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Energon Wing Saber? Do you have him? Have you been trying to get a hold of him? Do you think his vehicle mode works out okay? Do you hate his robot mode? Do you think the combination is the only redeeming quality of this toy? Do you not like the combination at all? It's anything goes, so feel free to let me know what you think. Anyway, I think that is going to do it. So that has been my look at Energon Wing Saber. Thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.